5 days to go in the transfer window, and Celtic have received a bid for Adam Idah. Was not expecting to be talking about this today. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. If you haven't already, please make sure to hit like and subscribe. It would be much appreciated. We are now on the final stretch between now and Monday till the transfer window slams shut. Celtic have a lot of business to get done, and we could be looking at doing more business if players leave the club, and some players could be leaving by surprise. However, I want to kind of preface everything by saying things will change very, very quickly. So I want to get this video out today before a story gets released that it's off the cards. You're reading that correctly. What you see on screen is actually real. This isn't a hoax. This isn't false. This isn't nonsense. It could end up being nonsense. I'm not saying that this is going to happen, but there are headlines today that kind of started last night as well. The rumours were floating around the internet. Bang, here they are. Swansea City are in talks with Celtic over a move for Adam Idah. That is the story that's been ran this afternoon. It's understood that the approach has come as a surprise to Celtic. God knows it's came as a surprise to me, who had no intentions of selling Adam Idah this summer. Idah has also not been looking to leave Celtic. However, Sky Sports News understand that Swansea are pushing hard and are prepared to pay a decent fee. Now, of course, we signed Adam Idah from Norwich last year for a fee that could rise up to £9.5 million. Celtic would probably want to recoup as much of that as possible, as we haven't really got our worth out of it yet. But Swansea apparently willing to pay a decent fee. Some journalists reporting that talks are reaching advanced stages as well. All we have right now is that Swansea are interested. I don't know why, I don't know how, but I guess that's something we've got to talk about. This has happened very, very quickly. As I said, rumours kind of started circulating last night from a few English and Welsh-led publications that Swansea were interested in Adam Idah. That kind of went into this morning, and then bang, around 11 o'clock, the news dropped from Sky Sports that conversations and negotiations were underway between both clubs. Something that has come as a surprise to everybody. There's not really been any mention of clubs looking at Adam Idah this summer. I think that all Celtic fans, despite your opinion of Adam Idah, whether you think he's good enough or not, were expecting him to be here for another campaign, his second campaign permanently with the club. And this came as a surprise and a shock to everybody, and it really does raise a huge question of, well, what's the right thing to do here? There's a lot of debate going on online at the minute whether or not it's the right time to sell Adam Idah, whether it's wise to sell Adam Idah. I think that this is a situation that could have been dealt with a lot more clearly a month or two ago rather than now, with 5 days to go, when Celtic can't seem to conduct business in any other area of the park, let alone a striker. We were looking at somebody to come in and play ahead of Adam Idah. Now if we sell him, we're looking at a situation where Celtic would need to still sign that striker, but then also replace Adam Idah. This was also backed up by Mark Hendry this afternoon as well, who said Swansea are pushing hard for Adam Idah. So it's going to be a wild 24 hours to see what happens with his Celtic future. Someone who has been questioned, somebody who has been under scrutiny by a lot of the Celtic support, maybe even the manager nowadays as well, as he was left on the bench for the game against Kairat Almaty on Tuesday. This is a really confusing one. I know some of you might be eager to hear my thoughts on this, because I'm the one who has endlessly defended Adam Idah up until very, very recently. I'm the one who was certain that he would come good for Celtic. I was the one that was adamant we should have signed him last year, and I stuck my neck on the line for a player who I genuinely thought was a good investment for the club. That has came back to bite me to an extent. I'm still happy he came and got 20 goals last season. I still thought they had a future with the club, but as of this season, as of these last few weeks, my opinion has started to change. There has been signs of a player who might simply not be good enough for the side, and it does raise that huge question as to whether or not Celtic should cash in on this opportunity now while it's there, before it goes away potentially for good. Because if Adam Idah goes on to have a season this year one to forget, we might never get the chance of selling him for good money again. But we have to be realistic about things right now. Celtic are not in the best place. We are not well equipped to start letting go of more attacking players. The same came up with Yang yesterday when he was linked with a move to Birmingham. You know me, I'm one of Yang's biggest critics. I'm not a huge fan of Yang as a player. And I was saying yesterday that a move to Birmingham, yeah, do it. Let him go and let him go elsewhere. But we aren't well placed to just let attackers go right now. You suddenly let Adam Idah and Yang go. That's 2 less names in that already bare front line without any guarantees of signing anybody over these next 5 days. I think this is my bottom line with this Adam Idah situation is, if the money is too good to pass up, and Celtic are confident that they can sign 2 strikers or 3 attacking players or whatever over this next week, take it. Maybe it's just best for all parties that we separate, that we go different ways before things get worse, before Celtic fans complain about money being wasted even more. Why don't we just take it? But if we don't have those assurances behind the scenes, and if the Celtic recruitment department aren't confident of bringing in players, suitable replacements and whatnot, then I don't think we can let go of Adam Idah. And I know some people will be quick to go, oh, he's not good enough anyway, we'd be better without him. But what happens when he's gone and a striker picks up an injury and we don't recruit and we don't bring in somebody? Then we're in a really bad position. Celtic aren't equipped to let go of players right now in the forward line until we have the sufficient quality required ahead of them. And that makes this an even trickier situation than it already would be for Celtic with 5 days left in the window. Something clearly isn't working for Adam Idah right now. I don't know if it's the system. I don't know if it's his own confidence. I don't know if it's the service around him. Something's just not working for Adam Idah. And I think that there is a genuine conversation to be had about his Celtic future and whether it's the right time or not to move him on. I'm somebody who likes to give players time and patience. I think that's very important when it comes to players, especially younger players who are just getting through the door or whatever. But Adam Idah's been here for almost 2 years. It'll be 2 years in January, and we haven't seen the signs of that guy we had on the loan move for quite a while now. So yeah, it's got to be one that fans are very split on. I think more people will be leaning towards the selling side. But Celtic haven't made this situation easy for themselves. Just think about it. If Celtic went out and got their business done, as they should have throughout this window, and if they went and signed a first choice striker, and if they signed wingers before now, we could have sat here and chewed the hand off Swansea. We could have took the money and run. But now, we can't quite do that. And it'll be interesting to see how Celtic handle this over the next couple of days. Will they be comfortable selling Adam Idah? Will they be comfortable taking a loss? There has been no details as of yet as to how much Swansea are willing to offer, but we have, as I've already mentioned, seen reports that they're willing to pay a decent fee. That to me suggests something that would recoup more than half of what we spent. I think we're talking in surplus of £5-6 million. Keep an eye out. This is going to be weird. So in terms of attacking signings, we're still awaiting the announcement of Michel-Ange Balikwisha, which hasn't been made yet as of recording. I'm hoping that happens at some point today, maybe while I'm editing. We might have to hold off till a Friday announcement if things keep going the way they are. But we are, of course, being linked with other players as well, and predominantly Sebastian who we spoke about yesterday. Now reports are suggesting Celtic are ready to go back in after their first bid was rejected, but of course will need to improve on that initial bid. So reports in Sweden where Tenecte plays, of course, are reporting that Celtic are ready to go forward with a further offer of £3.35 million for Sebastian Tenecte, which is closer to the valuation they have of the player. And Tenecte himself has confirmed that he knows of the interest and that this is perfectly legitimate. His exact words to the media was, he knows there's interest from a top club in Europe, and it's great that there is that kind of interest. So this is one where the wheels seem firmly in motion, and if we can get closer to Hammarby's valuation and Hammarby are happy with an offer, I think this one might actually get done and over the line over the next few days. We spoke about Tenecte a bit more as a player yesterday if you want to check that out, but the door has now opened for Celtic. Will Hammarby see this as a more acceptable offer? Time will only tell. There was reports saying that they wanted closer to £5 million. That was then confused with reports saying that they wanted £2.5 million. The numbers are all up in the air right now, and that's what happens when you leave your business till this point in the window. Reports get mixed, stories get twisted, and you really don't know where you're standing, and the club probably don't know where they're standing because they're the ones that have waited to the last minute, and they'll probably get taken advantage of when it comes to some players and their valuations. I think one of the main problems is that Hammarby will be reluctant to sell. and this 3.35 million offer that's apparently being submitted will probably be thrown out, because the record of the poor thing that they're probably looking for somewhere between 4.3 to 5 million, which is in line with those reports that came out yesterday. I think Celtic are going to have to be a little bit more aggressive with their negotiations, but this has been the story of the window. You know, club says they want 5 million, we offer 1.5, offer 2.5, offer 3.35. Hammarby don't have any reason to change what they want. They have been, I think, pretty well ran in recent years. There was an article I was reading earlier about how good their financial situation is. They won't feel pressure to sell to Netke unless the money is right. Now, the player looks as though he wants the move. He said it's great to see that interest. That signals to me that he's probably very keen on a move to Celtic. But once again, Hammarby under no pressure. They will probably hold out until they get something more in the region of £5 million. The question is, will Celtic offer it? Now, that's not me saying that they should just throw it there, because I'm not entirely sure that this lad is worth that. But if this is the winger that they want, they're going to have to do it. They're going to have to, unless there's another list of targets there, right wingers, left wingers, whoever it is to bring in. Unless there's a huge amount of them, then this is what we're going to have to pay, sadly. Get the business done. Move. In fact, we have some breaking news, as I'm just recording, that you will have seen by now, perhaps. And this is the exact type of story which shows Celtic they do need to get a move on if this is their primary target in these areas. Because apparently, Hammarby have also received another bid for Sebastian, which is not from Celtic. They have rejected a bid from Toulouse, apparently. So credit to 67 Hail for picking this up via Football Direct in Sweden, who said that apparently there is another bid that's came in and it has been thrown out. It's a bid of around 3.1 million. So now we have competition. And this is what Celtic will do by, fanning about and dragging things on. They will invite pressure, they will invite competition, and they will miss out on targets. Not for the first time this season, not for the first time in recent years. This is the usual. Now we have competition in there apparently, and this will get harder. So as of now, that is the transfer updates. Adam Idah potentially off to Swansea. That's huge news, but we need more links now. We need to hear stuff. We need to hear updates about strikers, whether it's Lois Montano, Jamie Vardy, whoever it is. We need to have reassurances that Celtic are actually going out and doing business to improve this front line. I can't believe this is where we are with 5 days to go, but hey, that is what it is. So, yeah, I'll be here for as many updates as possible. I'm away to Dublin tomorrow, but I will be trying to keep you up to date as much as I can between now and then. We'll be live as well for the Europa League draw tomorrow afternoon. So, I'll see you then, if not earlier tonight. Right, take care. Cheerio. Bye.